We finally got some big news about the Mt. Gox tokens, and it isn't FUD. Welcome back, everyone. Let's dive into this story. I think finally we're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully it is not a train. Okay, here we go. The Mt. Gox deadline finally passes. What does that mean? The deadline to enter repayment information from the long defunct crypto exchange Mt. Gox has passed, now almost a decade since it entered bankruptcy in February 2014. Circa 10,000 crypto creditors around the world had to select for the past 6 months whether to be paid in crypto or in fiat, and to which crypto exchange or address or bank account or indeed PayPal. Creditors had until today, April 6th, Tokyo time, to enter repayment information, and the deadline has not been pushed at this time. That is the signal here. In years past, this deadline just keeps getting kicked down the road. This is the first time it has not. So, again, light at the end of the tunnel. Kryptonians, it's an interesting term, I guess, therefore are set to receive... I personally wouldn't use it in public. I'm sure they could have come up with something better than that. I mean, not that I'm coming up with anything better than that right now. Anyways, Kryptonians, therefore, are set to receive about 165,000 Bitcoin, the same amount in BCH, and circa $500 million in fiat. About 20 to 25% of the original deposit in Mt. Gox will be distributed depending on complex selections that each creditor had to make, like full and final payment or gradual payments to account for potential future recoveries. The vast majority are thought to have opted for a full and final settlement, a process that has now entered its very final stage. The trustee has not clarified just what happens now. There is therefore no confirmation or indication of how long the act of repayment might take, though the Goxers that have held for years expect the usual extremely slow movement, which might mean by September. Not that some weeks or months matter to them much after 10 years of waiting, but it is over. Almost. The Goxing is ending. Okay, so look, obviously, the big question I think for most Bitcoiners is, well, what is this going to mean for Bitcoin? I mean, look, let's be honest, right? I can almost guarantee you that almost anybody holding those BCH coins are going to dump them as soon as possible. When it comes to the Bitcoin, right, that's 165,000 Bitcoin. Just for a frame of reference, I believe MicroStrategy now has over 151,000 Bitcoin. MicroStrategy has approximately 151,000 Bitcoin. So, you know, just to give you an idea of how much is going to be coming out onto the market. The real big next question is, what does that mean for Bitcoin's price? It all depends on how many of the creditors actually, number one, when they get their coins. Number two, do they decide to sell them all or just a portion of them, as I just read to you in the article? So who's to say what's really going to happen? But I can say this. I personally would expect some volatility, right? I mean, you'd be a fool not to. You'd be a fool not to, because there's going to be that much liquidity coming out onto the market. And I think what most of us don't appreciate is that right now there isn't very much Bitcoin that's constantly being traded that sets the price. So the other thing is, if there's, possibly a large entity that was, looking to make a massive purchase of Bitcoin, they may be waiting for those tokens to come out onto the market. That's possible also. But look, either way, the point is that this is finally coming to an end. This FUD that has hung over Bitcoiners for so many years, right? I can't tell you how many times I've heard somebody like Richard Hart-Wynn say, those Mt. Gox tokens are coming. It's going to sink Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to, Bitcoin's going to $100. Bitcoin's going to $1,800. Bitcoin's going, it's always going to minus 90% from wherever it is because of the Mt. Gox coins. Okay. It always is. And the reality of the reality of the situation is that all that was FUD. But now finally, those coins are hopefully going to hit the open market. People are going to sell them. Other people are going to purchase them, and we can move on. Hopefully, the end of a very long and extremely annoying saga in Bitcoin. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you all next week.